Hi, this is Dr. Rob, and we're talking about this week's blog on stress. We're talking about mental stress this week. So I know none of you have mental stress, except me, but we're going to talk about that this week because we talked about the prior 2 weeks, we talked about physical stress, which comes in the form of traumas, talked about chemical stress, which is poisons to the body. This week is mental stress. And mental stress, they say about 90% of mental stress is in the form of autosuggestion, which means we're really just beating up on ourselves. So when the way our body is, when we're in a stress state, there's two different sides of that. We have the fight or flight response, which is kind of like the pushing the pedal to the metal and the gas, and that's where everything's in high alert. That's the situation where if you're walking down a dark alley and someone jumps out at you, everything just goes in high alert. All the blood is shown into those areas to get ready for a fight or to flight. So, and that is something that can happen, but the problem with that is that a lot of times we inappropriately see things that are going to scare us, or we get in so used to being this fight or flight response that the stress level stays at a steady state, and it stays sustained at a higher stress state for long periods of time. So we're talking about, we may feel stress states for trying to get to work on time, waking up and rushing off to work, time schedules, certain types of papers at schools, work problems, marital problems, relationship problems, all these things that may create types of stress to the body. Mental stress, which is looked at, depending on how you interpret it, could be interpreted on as a fight or flight response in the body. And when it does that, your body's in high alert all the time, which it's not supposed to do. It's only during those life-threatening situations where you have to fight or flight it to save your life. And so your body has a tendency to start breaking down at that state. It never has a chance to go on the other side of the coin, which is the restorative types of resting state, which you should be in most of the time to repair your body. So it's real important to look at it that way, is that a lot of times we're so used to it we don't even know that we're in this stress state because it's such a normal situation for maybe our society or our lifestyles to be in that higher stress state. So for example, and sometimes it's very hard to break those patterns, even patterns of thoughts, because sometimes you think of something and automatically it'll bring up a negative type of thought or feeling. And it's a reflex type of situation because a lot of times you program yourself subconsciously that way, and the way the brain works, if you don't use it, you lose it, but the more you use it, you have a tendency to go that way. So it's kind of like if you're walking through snow and the snow's deep, and the more you walk in one path, it's going to cut a nice pathway through, so it's going to be easier to keep taking that path. So if that path is the negative thought or the negative autosuggestion, and when the situation comes up, typically you're going to automatically do an automatic reflex response towards that negative thought. So it takes a conscious effort, from what the experts say, the conscious will expert to watch your thoughts, to see what you're thinking, so then you can start slowly carving a path towards the situation on how you want to think in those situations. So it's really up to you to really have the will to catch those thoughts of autosuggestion. And so I just want to sum it up right now with a little parable. And this parable goes, I'm going to read this to you. There's an old Cherokee was teaching his young grandson one of life's most important lessons. He told the young boy the following parable. There is a fight going on inside each of us. It is a terrible fight between two wolves, he said. One wolf is evil. He is anger, rage, envy, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The second wolf is good. His is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, truth, compassion, and faith. The grandson thought about this for a moment. Then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win the fight?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one that you feed." So it's the same thing with our bodies. So think about that. And next week we're going to go over a little bit of information about the placebo effects and beliefs. So it's very powerful as far as healing. So if you have any questions, you can contact us at Bates Chiropractic, and the phone number is 310-545-4188, and catch us on the web at chiropractor manhattanbeach.com. And other than that, keep spreading the word. We appreciate serving you. Take care.